because we're live streaming, I'm going to take off my mask because it's just a little too weird not to see somebody's face. When we're in person, we can kind of look at the eyes and everything. But I moved the chairs back a little bit so everybody's probably a good 8 feet at least, maybe 10 feet. Yeah. Okay, so let's start out with our classical clearing meditation, which is, first of all, let's begin by watching the breath. That's always a good way to begin a meditation. Focus on the sensation as your breath comes in and out of your body at the tip of your nose. Every breath, relax your body and your mind and your heart, breath by breath. Now picture that on your out breath, you're breathing out in a cloud of smoke. Anything that distresses you, any worry or anxiety, any tension, feel that you're breathing it out on the cloud of smoke, goes far, far away and disappears. Every out breath. Now on your in-breath, feel that you are breathing in beautiful, beautiful light, just positive, healing, spiritual energy. And picture that with every in-breath, filling your whole being and especially your heart. Just open your heart and bring in the light. And for the last 3 minutes, and just let yourself relax and let go even more. And just bring all this good spiritual energy into your heart. Let your heart and your mind be healed. In the last few weeks, we've been looking at the Four Noble Truths. It's the condensation of all Buddha Dharma, all Buddhist teachings. And they're called the Four Noble Truths because they're seen to be true by noble beings like the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas. So the first one is you should know sufferings, which means just, okay, you have difficulties in this life. When you go to the next life, you probably have difficulties there too, you know, and difficulties will continue until we heal them, okay? Until we do the work in our mind to step out of negative patterns and replace them with positive patterns. That's a whole spiritual path in essence. Reduce your negative patterns, increase your positive, stable patterns. So little by little, we are just getting more positive because why not? Why not? The world needs us to be, it needs us to be loving, wonderful beings. So we can do that. So the second noble truth is you should know origins, which means you should realize that any difficulties you have come from your own negative actions. You know, like for instance, like say, if you gossip about people in the staff room, you know, people will gossip about you. You know, and it kind of changes the atmosphere of the workplace so that people don't trust each other because they talk about each other. It's really important not to do that. It seems harmless and it's kind of like what passes for connection and communication, but we should know that that's, you know, it's not a good thing to do. It's spreading negative energy. So any difficulties we have now or in future lives will be caused by the things that we do. Okay, so just like the gossip, you don't want to be gossiped about, don't gossip about other people. Leave the room or see if you can stop it, whatever. It makes it much nicer. There are other things to talk about besides putting other people down. So the third noble truth is you should attain cessations, which means that you should get to the place where you really just stopped all of that negative stuff. You stopped it and you're peaceful and happy and you're a constructive member of society. You know, you can be a nice person that helps other people. So that's a sensation when you've really just finished everything. They say they comes a certain point in our spiritual evolution where all of our negativity is just dispelled. All of it's dispelled. So you just think, that's really nice. That's really nice. So, and then the fourth noble truth is you should practice the path. If we want to be able to move to that place where we are peaceful and happy and loving all the time, we need to practice, okay? Just like anything, if you want to be good at the piano, you practice the piano, okay? If you want to evolve yourself and evolve your heart, you have to practice like making choices all the time, big things, little things, people, animals, you know, even little insects. It's nice not to squash insects just because we can. It's just like, it's a piece of life that doesn't want to get squashed. So, but, you know, particularly notice, you know, what you're doing with your mind, what you're doing with other people. You know, it's so important that we treat each other well. It really is. And it helps people a whole lot. There's a song one of my friends sent me, It's a Wonderful Life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great little song. It's sung, I think, originally written and sung by a Black guy that's probably suffered quite a lot with racism in this culture. And it's just going, it's a wonderful world. People are coming along saying, how do you do? And they're really saying, I love you. And you just think, how nice to have suffered under the racism of this country and to be able to see the good aspects of life. I just thought, wow, I was so impressed. I just love the way he sings it too. So we want to just cut out all the things that annoy us, that bother our mind, that make our mind negative, that drag us down, because it's unnecessary. It's like events will happen, but we are always in control of our response, no matter what it is. Our car breaks down, we fix the car, that's the car's problem. But we work with our mind. There's a big difference between outer problems and inner problems, okay? When we think outer problems are our problem, we get confused. Like, you know, the car has a problem. You take it to the mechanic and he fixes the car's problem. You whip out your credit card. Now, your problem is getting upset about it, okay? Because it's sort of, it's a fact of life that we need a car, so it's like, as you can work with yourself, everything gets better and better and better and better. So we want to get to the place where we're extremely happy with all of this. Extremely happy. And we all know what it's like to feel happy at times in our life. What we want to do is increase that, increase it until it's just, we're just happy just almost all the time. And of course, when we're an enlightened being, we would be happy and peaceful all the time. And Buddha said every single last sentient being will eventually be enlightened. I just love that. We're all future enlightened beings sitting here in this room. And how fast or slow we get there just depends on what kind of work we put in. We don't put in much work, not too much happens. It's just like anything. That if you really focus and work on something, it blooms. Okay. So what we want to do is really apply ourselves to our spiritual path by practicing really by, first of all, recognizing our negative states of mind, like, anger or criticism or judgment, and reducing those. We don't need that. It just makes everybody unhappy. And increasing our positive minds, like acceptance of each other, tolerance, compassion, just, consideration, just loving each other. So reducing the negative, increasing the positive, which is extremely nice. So we have lots of good times, but we want to increase them more and more and more and more. So I've got 2 books. So just looking at different kind of things. One of our sufferings in this life is not getting what we want. Okay. So if we mellow out a little bit about not always having to get what we want, okay, but to be able to accept a variety of outcomes, we set ourselves free. Okay. It's not like, I'm only going to be happy if I get this certain thing. If we can't buy that house that I want, I'm going to be miserable the rest of my life. I mean, people get so attached to things. If I can't get that car, or that job or whatever, the more we can let go. I'm not talking about being mushmouth, okay? We're active, we do whatever we can, but we can also flex with the outcome. We aren't limited. We aren't small thinking. We know we can be happy in a wide variety of circumstances. So as we practice the path, we're reducing our negative minds and just increasing those minds that make us happy. Like, it's so much easier to feel happy when you're being tolerant of other people than when you're judging them, okay? And it goes also for ourselves. We're happier when we can accept ourselves in our imperfect state instead of being down on ourselves for our shortcomings. We've all got shortcomings, otherwise we'd be in some kind of heavenly realm already. So we're just here working. We're just working to improve ourselves. So if we can be accepting of ourselves and accepting of others, that really helps everything grow. It really, really helps everything grow. So I want to just look at all kinds of things. And realize that in order to feel really satisfied with life, we have to adjust our mind, okay? We have to work with our heart so that we can accept things, okay? We do everything we can, and then we accept the outcome. It's like a strong mind, where you can handle whatever life gives to you. It's a strong mind. I kind of like it. And Buddhism takes everything as a challenge, which is very, very nice. So one of the sufferings is not getting as much satisfaction as we want. Most of the problems we experience come from our seeking satisfaction, the pleasures of this life, where no real satisfaction can be derived from them, not any lasting satisfaction. What we want is the lasting, real stuff, okay? For instance, if we seek satisfaction from drinking alcohol, We should keep drinking and drinking without ever finding what we seek. Or with drugs, you know. If we continue to seek satisfaction in such limited pleasures without realizing that these things can never give us what we want, we create many bad habits and cause problems for ourselves and others. So basically, it's sort of like happiness is an inside job. We can really let ourselves be happy. We can let ourselves connect with love. Often we think somebody else has to give us love like a present. And it's really nice to be loved by people, but basically love is a state of consciousness where we can be there ourselves at any point, okay? It's a state of consciousnness. And once we're loving, then we just love other people that we bump into, in terms of, you know, treating them well. We treat the checkers at the stores well. We just, you know, it's like our benevolence is really shining. It's very, very shining. So we don't want to just try and it's sort of like we're looking for satisfaction, deep satisfaction, where it can't be found. It's like we're getting some satisfaction from temporary things. What we want to do is go deep and profound, okay? Because if we go deep and profound, then we get something that's more sustaining. We can really have something that sustains our heart, sustains our mind. So what we want to go is to go for the real things. So here, this is kind of a funny story about samsara, about roles and about this is and about that. There was once a couple who lived in a house together with their son and his wife. Behind the house was a small lake. The father was very fond of fishing, and every day he would catch fish and bring them home for the family to eat. One day, a stranger fell in love with the son's wife and committed adultery with her. When the son found out, he killed him. Since the murdered man was so attached to the wife, he was reborn as her child. Shortly afterwards, the old mother died, and since she was so attached to the house and the family, she was reborn as their pet dog. Later, the old father died, and since he was so fond of fishing, he took rebirth as one of the fish in the lake. The son then went fishing and caught that fish. He took it home, and his wife fried it. The dog smelled the fish and came to get the bones. As the son ate the fish that was his father, he cradled the child who was his enemy and kicked away the dog that was his mother. With his clairvoyance, Shariputra beheld this scene and says, "Samsara makes me laugh." You just think, we don't really know about who's what or anything. All we know is that the more we open our heart to be loving, considerate, ethical human beings, the better and better it gets. Okay, don't kick that dog. No kicking the dogs. But you know, it's sort of like we have a whole beautiful array of things to practice. Buddhist teachings show us how to be happy and show us how to be peaceful. It shows us how to reduce our negative minds. Like for instance, with jealousy, sometimes it's easy to be jealous of somebody at work. They got a promotion that you wanted and you didn't. But you know, a sentence I liked a lot was, people have so little lasting happiness in this world. It comes and it goes. Why should we begrudge anybody a little bit of happiness that they can get? You know, let's not begrudge anybody anything as much as we can. So we just, as we practice Buddhist teachings, we get more mellow, we get more relaxed, we get stronger in a quiet, inward kind of way, not in the kind of brash, loudmouth kind of way. We get stronger in kind of an endurant heart kind of way. We're developing ourselves deliberately. And Buddha gives us lots and lots of teachings how to. So, okay, so jealousy, maybe you say, you just can't, I help being a little bit jealous, that person that got the promotion you wanted. Instead, you know, rejoice. Rejoice that somebody got something good that they wanted, okay? Which is very, very nice. For anger, we try and talk ourselves out of it because we realize how negative it is. You can be strong without anger. And then replace it with just, you know, affection, kindness, ethical nature. So we're just replacing the negative with the positive. We can do that. It's just learning how, what counters other things. there's always every delusion or negative state of mind will have a counter thing. Like another counter to anger is compassion. Because usually when somebody's doing something you don't like, it's because it makes sense to them, you know. And sometimes if we're just compassionate on other people, compassionate on their difficulties and everything, we can be very much more effective, much more. We're growing our heart by being generous, being compassionate of other people. Compassion is a big deal. It's part of the way we get to enlightenment, is developing our compassion. So whenever we can do that, we should just emphasize that quality, because it's one of the main ways that we get to enlightenment. The main way we reach enlightenment is we mix love and compassion. And when we mix them, we call it bodhicitta, because we have love and compassion, we want to get enlightened so that we can really help. There's nobody more powerful than a Buddha. So it's a good thing, like when you're having difficulties or something, you're struggling with this or that, because life has its ups and its downs. Just ask for help, okay? And the Buddhists love to help us, okay? They love to help us. So it's just the humility of saying, there are beings that are more evolved than I am, and I'm asking for them to send me some energy. We should know too that Buddhists were once people just like us, but they just practice reducing their negative minds, increasing their positive, and they worked at it. Okay, so they are like our elder brothers further down the path. They aren't, and we will become just like them someday. So it's not somebody that will never become. It's like we will become like the Buddhists. They're just elders and brothers and sisters further down the path. So we just try and ask for help. Okay, whenever you can't tell what to do in a situation, ask for help. Ask for somebody to enlighten your mind as to what to do. Or whenever you're having a difficulty with something, ask for blessings, ask for help, and pray for the people too. You probably aren't in the habit necessarily of doing that, but prayer, or in Tibetan they call prayer a wish path. You're wishing goodness for somebody. Like if somebody is having health problems, you just wish, you pray for them that they feel better. So we just become better and better as we practice at it. So the whole of Buddha's teachings is how to be happy, how to be peaceful, how to get out of difficulties and suffering, and how to make your mind more and more loving, more and more happy, more and more peaceful. All of Buddha's teachings, because we don't have to be stuck in dissatisfaction or anger or anything like that. We don't need to be stuck there. We just need to do our work. So we're practicing doing our work. Practicing. Okay, so again, we're just reviewing the Four Noble Truths. You should know sufferings, meaning the difficulties you have, you'll probably have some in your next life too. It's not going to disappear until you make it disappear. You should know origins. That means, what is the cause of everything? It's our negative minds. That's what trips us up and gives us difficulties later on. You should change sensations, where you're just totally clear by practicing the path. Okay, that means you practice to reduce your negative minds and increase your positive minds. We're growing our heart. We're growing our capacity to love. And how nice. We're growing our capacity to love. I really like that a whole lot. Okay, so now we're going to do the liberating prayer. This is a prayer that was written in praise of Buddha Shakyamuni, the founder of Buddhism in our time. It has so many beautiful things. You love all beings without exception. The source of happiness and goodness, because you teach us how to be happy. You teach us how to be good. And you guide us to the liberating path, the path that liberates us from suffering, that liberates us from difficulties. Liberation. You lead us to the liberating path. You give us the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of our minds and to heal our mental continuums. I think often that we can heal ourselves faster through meditation than through years and years of therapy, because you just bring in the light and you just erase some of the patterns. You're just opening to greater energy, and it just kind of melts away some of our hurt and our about this and about that, just melting it away. So meditation is a good thing to learn. Okay, so let's do this prayer, and then we'll do a second meditation. Namo
blessed one, Shakyamuni Buddha. Precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme peace. You love all peace without exception, by the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us through the liberating path. Your body is a wish fulfilling joy. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request some depths of my heart. Please give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing background of delight. Through your compassionate intention, your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you. May all suffering greatly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forever.
So we're going to do a meditation called the Peaceful Heart Meditation. So we begin by watching our breath. It's a good way to slow down your mind. Anytime you want to slow down and settle your mind. So focusing on the plate, on the sensation as the breath comes in and out of your body at the tip of your nose. Bring your attention right to that. Let your lungs relax. And breathe in deep, beautiful breaths of air. Drop down to your heart and start to focus on that sense of peace that's beginning to arise. That's your object of meditation, peace. If your mind wanders, stop for just a second, collect yourself, and go back to the object of meditation. whichever way lands. Relax into your natural peace. The last 3 minutes. Just let yourself be happy that you're meditating and be happy with any bit of peace that may have arisen in your heart. Allowing yourself to be happy. Just letting everything be okay. class for the dedication. And we created a lot of positive energy, a lot of merit by coming here tonight. So dedicate that to yourself, growing and growing and growing on your spiritual path. So we will be having well, the community meeting is on the 27th, and I'll include that nice video, CD video. And perhaps we'll have that, maybe another video another day. But Saturdays always, you work probably every Saturday. Yeah, it's a big shopping day. And then we will, in the beginning of May, May 1st, Saturday, May 1st, we'll have an empowerment of Buddha Vajrasattva. Yeah, really. This is the Buddha that helps you. His whole job, every Buddha has a job, okay? His whole job is to help wash away your negative karma. So it's really nice when you have an empowerment. It doesn't make you Buddhist, but it does connect you more securely with that particular Buddha, so that you're kind of like an introduction, but you have a wonderful connection with him. It makes your practices stronger. So that'll be on Saturday, all day. It'll be an all-day event on Saturday, May 1st. And we don't have our publicity out yet, but keep an eye out, okay? So, and that can be either, that will be live streamed, so you can attend from your home. And let me see. That's all that's just totally upcoming right now. On the peaceful heart meditation, they advise that you do that first thing in the morning. Like you can even do it before you get out of bed, or you can just sit up on bed, and before you hurtle into your day, you remember that peace is part of your deep being. It's not something that you aren't, it's something that you are. You just have to uncover. And in Samson, a luminary in our tradition, says, whenever you meditate, just be happy that you're meditating. No matter how it goes, you're training, and you can just let yourself be happy that you're doing this wonderful thing, which will keep evolving you. So whether it's a good meditation or your mind wanders the whole time, just let yourself be happy. We are creating, every time we meditate, even if our mind wanders the whole time, we're planting seeds for future peace. So it's quite nice. Okay, so thank you all for coming.